Alright, hello everyone. It's been a while since I've last made a video, and that's just simply because not much has happened, at least in my case, within the past half week or so. Obviously, if you've been keeping up with the news, there was a lot of activity last week regarding GameStop, AMC, Nokia, Bed Bath and Beyond, and there was just so much activity going on last week. While all of that was going on, I was just waiting to get more buying power to clear to my account, and it took a while, but yesterday I actually did have those funds cleared in my account, which means I did have increased buying power. Right. So during that time last week, I couldn't really buy anything because I was waiting. So I kind of like, I guess you could say I missed my opportunity to maybe get in on GameStop at an earlier price, but it is what it is. Right. I'll be on the lookout more for more of that to see if anything changes with that. But honestly, the only thing that I really did last week is that I sold the remaining shares that I had on Sarepta Therapeutics, and I put them into AMC just because it's a meme stock right now. And not only that, I believe in the long term, AMC is going to be just fine when the pandemic is all said and done. Obviously, their share price has taken a big hit, right, since then. Yeah, yeah. So obviously, they haven't been in the best spot since then, but that's okay, right? I think in due time, AMC will definitely recover and whatnot, right? I think I think as long as Marvel movies are being made, AMC is gonna be just fine, right? Like, let me show you what AMC share. Let me show. Okay, sorry. Let me show you what AMC's share price was looking like around the time that Avengers Endgame was released. Okay, so this is the 5-year mark, and Avengers Endgame. Guess what? Yeah. So right here was around the time that this was being released, and overall they were doing well. Okay, they were doing well, and like I said, I think in due time AMC will be fine. Right, I have no worries that AMC is going to upgrade their facilities. I'm sure, in fact, they've already been upgrading their facilities. It just kind of like got caught in the crossfire as a meme stock because a lot of institutional investors have been shorting the stock. But in due time, I have no concern, and I have no doubt that AMC will not recover. Okay, so with that being said, I'm still holding on to Clean Spark. Okay, I don't think anything. So I don't think anything new has come from Clean Spark in the last couple weeks. They're still being investigated for fraud. Nothing conclusive has been determined from that yet. Okay, but from here on out, I'm more interested in doing less day trading and more, and making more, I guess you could say, traditional investments for long time growth, or for long term growth, I'll say. So, like last week, I believe it was last week, I think, I did purchase NIO stock, or it might have been the week before last week. I purchased NIO stock, right, and it did go down a little bit, so I thought that was like a great buying opportunity, so I just simply bought in at more today. So now I am up to 36 shares for NIO stock, okay, so that's how that is going. I also use some of my new buying power to put shares into Funware, which is a company that specializes in converting desktop platforms to mobile platforms. There's a specific acronym for this. It's called, the acronym is MAAS. Let's see, it is. I'm looking at it up right now. Maybe I can like find it like really quickly. Yeah. Shoot, I can't really find it right now. But essentially, they are. Their whole gig right now is converting desktop websites, desktop platforms to mobile platforms. Okay, so that's why I feel confident in them. I've also looked at some of their customers that they've had recently. Two notable ones that stick out to me is Intel and NASCAR, and I think overall, I think with the direction that it could go in, I think it's in a great spot personally, and I think there is definitely room for growth in that regard. I also started making purchases for shares in JMIA, which has been described as the Africa equivalent to Amazon. So, in general, Amazon has not really been able to make its mark in Africa the same way that it has in the United States. And I think JMIA has been able to kind of, I guess, like crack the code, so to speak, and be able to reach out to African consumer bases in a way that Amazon has not been able to. So I personally think, for the long term, this is something that I do plan to hold long term, just because it has this trend of going up, right? I mean, like goes up, like literally a year ago, like a year ago, it was like at $4, $3, $2, and now look at it, all right? It's like $60, $61, right? That is absolutely insane for growth, okay? And I just think, I really have faith in JMIA. Okay, I'm not gonna sell JMIA at all. I'll keep buying more. In fact, when the opportunity comes up, but I'm not planning to sell short term for JMIA. Okay, I also put shares into Poshmark or Poshmark. Sorry, yeah, I put shares into Poshmark, which has been described as the fashion reseller marketplace for Instagram. Okay, so they kind of like pitch it as being like eBay, but for Instagram. Okay, so they kind of like specialize in reselling fashion clothes and whatnot. And obviously, you can sell fashion clothes on eBay, right? There's nothing stopping anyone from doing that. But I think Poshmark is going to be for fashion reselling. Okay, I think Poshmark is going to be for fashion reselling what Shopify has been in total for e-commerce, right? So let me just show you Shopify stock. Okay, so this is Shopify's stock right now. Obviously, for anyone that might be in the loop, they absolutely exploded too, right? So literally almost like over $1,200 is their current share price, right? Obviously referring to the pandemic, people being at home all the time, they're not spending as much money on other things as they normally would, right? Maybe they're like working from home, right? So they don't have to spend as much money on fuel as they would be able to, right? So, it just kind of like exploded in that sense, right? And like literally, let me just show you like a year ago. Okay, like a year ago it was like $485, and and you might look at that and it's like, wow, that's a lot. And yeah, I would probably agree with you, and definitely, when the crash, like when the markets were at their all-time low back in March, okay, they were definitely down a substantial amount. But then look at what happened though, right? They just like exploded because the pandemic has like accelerated e-commerce growth, right? So I'm gonna say right now that I believe Poshmark is gonna be for the reseller, or Poshmark is gonna be for the secondhand fashion sale market what Shopify was for e-commerce last year. Okay, I think fashion resale is gonna explode as a market, especially if you look at the long term. I think with the way Poshmark has kind of done things, they've kind of like nailed it down, in my opinion. Okay, so that's why I say that. Okay, so there's that. And also another reason was that they're also down 30% since their IPO, which was actually just a few weeks ago from the time of recording this. They did their IPO a few weeks ago. They were listed on January 14th, 2021 at 101.50. And look, they've just been going down this whole time, right? They had a very steep decline in like the first couple days, like the first week that it was listed. Okay, and then it's like been somewhat stable at this point. It's been hovering at around the mid 70s. Then it's like dropped down a little bit more to the low 70s, and now at this point it's down 30% essentially from its all-time, or it's down 30% from its IPO. Okay, so I think is I think that is a great value, to be honest, for what you're getting, and just seeing it heavily discounted like that. You know, it might even go down even more, and in that case, I'll just buy more, right? Just like NIO, okay? And like if JMIA goes down more, then I'll buy more of that too, because those are all three companies that I firmly believe in for the long term, okay? And the last one was Orbital Energy that I put shares in. Okay, so I put 75 shares into Orbital, and kind of like how I've said in prior videos, green energy is going to explode this year, okay, in the next few years even. I firmly believe that as well. You know, the Biden administration is going to double down on green energy in a way that the Trump administration was never able to. Okay, you know, it might take time, right? I mean, obviously they're down today, but look at them. Look at their growth, right? They're up almost 246% from last month, right? Look, at this point, about a month ago, they were $2.08. Now look at them, almost $8, right? In fact, they were $8 earlier today. Well, in the pre-market, they were $8.54 in the pre-market. They've obviously had a dip today, but you know, overall, long term, this is something else I truly believe in too. Okay, but yeah, that's kind of like how my portfolio looks at the moment. I still have some buying power left, about $1,500 worth of buying power, and we'll see. I am planning to deposit more for sure for more buying power, but if I see another opportunity that I feel like is golden, I will definitely not be afraid and not be hesitant to take up on it if there is money to be made in it, right? So that's kind of like how I am at the moment. And just looking at Funware, I think Funware is going to explode. Just give it time. It's going to explode. It's going to wake up. Okay? But that's how I am right now. I don't really have anything else to say. If I do purchase more shares tomorrow, we'll see. It just kind of depends. There's some other energy stocks as well I've been looking to that I'm kind of like waiting for a dip to happen with. But yeah, that's kind of it though. I think that's all I have for today, and see you guys tomorrow, possibly. Bye-bye.